We were waiting for a sunny day in London, but as that doesn't seem to be happening, we're filming inside.
Hello from the Aladdin's Cave of Great Westminster.
Today we're having a look at the TTArtisan 10mm f2, and yes, we are doing this like all the cool kids on YouTube by holding our microphones right here.
The tiniest microphones in the world.
For the biggest hands.
Yes.
The TTArtisan, the thinking artisan, remember that's what TTArtisan stands for? The TTArtisan 10mm f2 is their newest APS-C wide-angle prime lens. It's manual focus, as you would expect, equates to about 15mm in normal full-frame speak, and we've popped it on a ZSC, as you can see here, to see what it's like. Nikon currently don't have anything that is this wide in a prime lens, full stop, let alone for the APS-C or DX format. The closest thing to this really is the full frame Voigtlander 15mm f4.5, and it's not even really close to this, it's just that it gives you a similar field of view, but we don't have anything genuinely from Nikon that will do the job that this lens will do.
Let's talk about this lens specifications a little bit. It weighs between 333 grams to 345 grams, depending on the mount you're going to get it for. We have it for Nikon Z Mount, but there's all sorts of mounts available for it. It's full metal body, which feels really nice. It's got a built-in lens and hood. We thought this bit is additional lens hood, but it's actually a filter mount, and that will allow you to put the filters on it. So this one is 72mm diameter, so you can use ND filters, you can use circular polarizer, you name it, there's all sorts of things there. But why would you buy this lens? Well, because it's super wide. 105 degrees viewing angles is really, really wide. 15mm full frame equivalent. Being wide aperture, that will allow you to take beautiful night sky shots. And being ultra wide angle lens, you can capture all the stars in there. The price is $179. So for the price, it's a pretty good deal.
Some pros and cons for you. The good thing is that size-wise and feel-wise, it does actually work really, really well on the DX cameras. If you have a look at it, it's not too big. The fact that it is a wide-angle lens that takes filters and doesn't have some odd filter fitting or bespoke filter fitting is actually very positive. The downside is that, of course, it doesn't have any kind of electronic chip in it. So all of your EXIF data is going to say F -- it won't have an aperture readout, which also means that while you're shooting with it, you won't know what aperture you're shooting at. You'll have to look at the aperture ring on the lens, which brings me to the aperture ring. It's absolutely tiny. So if you do want to change that aperture in a hurry, just bear in mind that it is very small. It will probably be quite difficult to do with gloves on. And it's not the traditional aperture ring feel that we expect from, let's say, a Nikon lens or a Voigtlander lens. It also isn't a declicked aperture ring. Not that that's a problem, because you'd probably be using this for stills rather than video, but it does have very definitive clicks. The distance scale on the lens is also opposite to how Nikon have it. So that again is something to get used to, but not a massive deal breaker. The fact is that it's £179 for a lens that doesn't exist in the Nikon range yet.
All right, so I had a chance to use this lens for a couple of weeks. I took it to central London and took some architecture shots. And at 15mm, I can tell you that distortion is quite present, but I would expect it from any 15mm lens. It's super wide, it's basically ultra wide. You really need to know your framing, because the moment you change it by a few degrees, your verticals just go all over the place, really. And obviously the edges of the frame gets really, really distorted. However, the sharpness is there. The focusing I found to be pretty easy to do with the manual focus lens, because the depth field is there.
Yeah.
Stick it to f8, auto ISO, whatever desired shutter speed you want, and you're ready to go, basically.
One thing I will say is that these super wide angle lenses can be a bit challenging to use. They're very specific use case scenarios, not the kind of thing that you walk around with every day. We even struggled, I think, when we had the Voigtlander 15mm,
Indeed,
which is a full frame lens, same equivalent focal length to this one, which is an APS-C lens. you have to bear in mind that these lenses are designed for extreme situations. And I don't think that there's something that you can sort of walk around with as a standard lens, unless you are specifically looking for a very distorted look. Your people are going to look ginormous if they're in the corner of the frame and tiny if they're in the center of the frame.
Think estate agent on a budget. This is who this lens is for. You don't need to spend on Voigtlander or Nikon lens. Just get this for $100-something, $450 or so, and you're ready to lie to your customer about the size of the property they're about to rent or buy.
It's true.
So overall, the sharpness is really good, stop down to f8, f11, wide open. Yes, you get softness, especially the corners do suffer from this. You do get vignetting. So I would say I would really stick this lens to f8 to get the ultimate performance.
We did notice some chromatic aberration in there when you were shooting, particularly when you were shooting reflective surfaces.
Exactly. So if you've got some metallic surfaces on a bright sunny day, you may notice, especially wide open. Again, at f8, it's fairly controllable. Also, tree branches, edges of the roof, things like this, something, you know, where you have the sky and the clouds in the background. So that's where you'll start to notice. Again, those are fairly correctable when the lens is stopped down. However, wide open, they are a little bit more pronounced.
For situations where you want to fit everything in, this is the kind of lens for that. Nikon don't produce anything this wide, full stop, let alone for DX. So I think it is interesting that we are starting to see third-party brands produce lenses that Nikon currently don't cover.
Yes, and I think the pattern we see here is there are very good expensive lenses available. And if you need that focal distance, you're going to spend money on it. However, if you shoot something else most of the time and you want to have access to this focal distance, but at a lower price, so you can add those lenses to your arsenal without spending too much money and use them once in a while or so. I really like what TTArtisan doing in this space. And for us, photographers on the budget, those are amazing releases.
Thank you very much, TTArtisan, for sending us this 10mm f2. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give us a like and a subscribe. We'd hugely appreciate it.
If you want us to review more third-party lenses, do let us know in the comment below. And there's a super thanks button as well, so hit it if you can.